These are 9 to 42 strings, and it's a floating trem, so it is very sensitive. But the nice thing about the design of the XLT is it supports the neck at the most flexible point, from the 3rd to the 7th fret, which is where most of the flexing happens. You don't get as much flex up here, and you get no flex here. So let's just do the sobriety test here. Here we go. Try this on your own guitar. And you notice how it goes sharp on the attack and then it kind of falls back to center, and that's normal. I've had people asking about that as well. It isn't on the initial attack, especially with the really light strings. It tends to go sharp. That could come down a little bit too. And this is exactly why I leave that nut a little bit too long, because we are right on the home stretch now, and that allows us to make that final adjustment. Now, and only now that the nut is completely done, do we trim it back. Well, after tightening and loosening those strings 20-30 times during that whole calibration, that first set is essentially fried. Dan knew enough to bring a second set, and this will definitely do it for us. Start those last two strings again. There's our spring-loaded radius gauge, and that just slips under the strings like so. And as long as each of those strings are touching, we've got a perfect fingerboard radius match. I just leave that in the case for Dan. And that is our compensated nut for 9 to 42. That's the roasted maple fingerboard. Yeah. Dan had mentioned that he'd upgraded the spring claw block and the trem block to this solid brass one. It's an interesting configuration how they bolted that neck on and got the relief cut on the corner of that square. And these are the locking tuners. Let's plug this in and have a listen. Just a little dab of lithium grease underneath both sides of the string tree. I put some lithium grease on the loops and the hooks of the springs as well. I do that kind of routinely. This type of tremolo system has a lot of points of contact, and any one of those can cause a problem with that sort of kinking that you hear in the tuning. So all three hoops are lubricated, and I brushed that lithium grease onto the tabs and on the inside of the loops. Here I injected it into the hole where that hook is.